Holy shiz, how's it going, Bob? So tonight on the UK Wasteland modded Rust server, we have quite the show for you. 4 clans have banded together: the ROK clan, the 7 clan, the A clan, and the Get Fucked clan. Here's some of them grouped together in this auction hall church thing. They built an outpost right outside of their enemy's base, which is the Night clan. They're about to head there now and meet up with more members. And here we have the raiders pouring out of this outpost that they made overlooking the Night Clan's base, which is down at the bottom of this mountain that they are now on top of. And as I take a look inside of the base, there are sleeping bags everywhere, a chest full of guns and more explosives. And here's all of our men here lined right up, getting ready for the huge raid that's about to go down. And that's the base down there that they plan to raid, that huge armored base that sits high and mighty on the top of that rock. They plan to use mainly rocket launchers, because rocket launchers you can take a base out at a distance and a range, because it's going to be quite difficult getting on top of that rock there on top of the base and going down with traditional use of C4. And there's the outpost way up there on top of that mountain. And our men here are now descending down the mountain, already starting the raid. Rockets are already being shot at the base, and you can hear C4 going off in the background. I do believe they are going to take out the surrounding buildings of this base just to make sure these guys are going to be completely wiped out and no one's going to spawn inside of them and get them from behind. One of their main focuses right now is taking out this rock base right here, and they are busting right into this armor base down here just to make sure that everything's going to be wiped out. As you can see, this tiny rock base right here is already blown to pieces by the sheer amount of rocket launchers these men have. There are some gunshots, so there must be people inside trying to defend their base from the raiders. We already have our first casualty down here. It's one of the raiders, but I'm sure he'll just respawn back in the outpost and come right back down and join the fight again. They're busting into yet another one of the surrounding bases around the main base they are trying to raid here, just to make sure these guys are completely wiped out. Someone inside of the base is actually trying to snipe out these rocket men up here on top of the outpost. I'm now going inside of their base, seeing how many people are online, and just get an idea of what is actually going on here. We have a man here by the campfire, another man gearing up, but it seems like some of these guys are actually asleep. Hopefully they'll wake up soon and help defend their base from these raiders. And as a raid tower is being constructed out here, but it's not very efficient. They're using up a lot of wood and it's quite messy, but it's okay. This base is constantly being hit by rockets left and right. It is taking quite the hit. I understand that a wall has just fallen down and the loot has spewed everywhere, because this was their main loot room, I can only assume. And now as the cloth bags roll down the hill, possibly down to the raiders, actually it's clinging on there. That's interesting. We now have more defenders online, ready to defend their base at all costs from these raiders. Some of the raiders are now on top of the rock base shown earlier to get a different angle on the base and really attack them from all sides. Some defenders are teleporting in because this is a modded server, so maybe they die and they don't have a sleeping bag, so they teleport to a friend and now they are back into the fight. These men are probably trying to count how many guns they have left, because a lot of their chests just got blown up back there and they probably lost a ton of loot. And I'm not sure what that guy was thinking right there. He had no armor on whatsoever, and he stuck his head out to over a dozen raiders. The raiders are constructing yet another raid tower as more rockets are being shot at the base, Wow, this base is taking quite the heavy hit from the sheer amount of rockets constantly being fired at the base. The leader of these 4 clans, known as Steve-O, he told me he had about 60 rockets to begin with, but he could have brought more from the other clans. One defender from the inside just threw a grenade out at the raiders. I wonder if they'll land on anybody and do any damage. Huh, it actually took out the raid tower one of them was building. Good job, they actually slowed them down a little bit. A lot of defenders are huddling in this corner here. It's one of the only few safe spots left, and it's where they can get a good angle at the raiders and try to take them out the best they can. We have a naked here trying to armor up the best he can. I can only assume that a lot of their loot has been destroyed, so they have to retrieve it for past corpses. This space has been blown wide open. All the different levels are now exposed, and now you can see into them. We have a man in here moving up to the next level, trying to take out the raiders from a different angle. We have so many dead bodies out here from the defenders. There are not very many raiders left at the bottom of this base here. Some of them are actually retreating. So this is the calm of the storm, if you will. I'm sure they will be back.
Did we repel?
I'm just taking a look inside of their base. It really does not seem like they have much left, except for dead bodies everywhere. They have plenty of dead bodies. And like I said, many raiders have retreated. I'm unsure why. They probably went back to their outpost to resupply, regroup, and try to think of a new plan to raid this base. The defenders are now taking this opportunity to repair what is left of their base. Seems like we have one man up there to keep them distracted, but where is everybody else? Everybody else has gone missing. Seems like there are quite a few people in this outpost here, resupplying, regrouping, and they'll probably head back out there soon enough. It seems like they are missing a few people, but we have plenty of people up here. Oh, fuck. I just logged right back in, and there's quite a gunfight here at the outpost. From what I've been told, the Night Clan called in their allied clans to help them fend off the raiders, and here they are flanking the raiders at their own outpost. This man here is clearly surrounded by the raiders, and his only choice is to retreat. More gunfights are appearing as more clans are coming to help out the Night Clan to fend off the raiders and try to protect what is left of the base.
Rocketing.
As you can hear, the defenders are trying to rebuild their base, try to repair the base the best they can. As you can tell by this man going to town in that corner here.
I'm bleeding. I fucking need
One
bandage.
problem I really find about this base is that they built it right at the bottom of a mountain. So when someone comes to raid them, they have the height advantage. Look, we have raiders lined up at the top of that mountain shooting down at these guys. What were they thinking? It gives the raiders quite the advantage here. It looks like a rocket just hit the rock face. I know rockets are kind of hard to aim, but that wasn't even close, man. That wasn't even close to the base. A lot of people are missing their rockets right now. That has to be quite the expensive fuck up.
Remove this fucking fireplace. I can't even shoot them because of this.
And here we have John, possibly Wilkes Booth, taking out Campfire here so he can take out the Raiders. Gunfights continue between the Raiders and the Defenders here tonight. It's almost an unwinnable war. What can they really achieve from absolutely tearing apart this rock base? We have Booth here finally being able to shoot back at the Raiders after he got rid of that devil of a campfire. And like I said, the Raiders here have quite the uphill advantage. They get to line their men along that whole entire mountain and shoot down at the Raiders. Geography really takes place here. It really can affect the turnout of this raid. And we have one sneaky Raider here who's spying through a hole into the base that's probably been blown out ages ago.
Med kits or something.
We have that same man in here trying to repair the base as much as he can as other defenders TP'd him. It looks like he's smacking the shit out of that naked back there.
This is fucking crazy. Do you have some food on you or something?
And yet they are still firing rockets at this base. They've shot so many so far. How do they still have some left? And we have a man in here. He seems to be one of the last surviving defenders, or at least on this side of the base, as it's kind of split in two here. Oh, I never noticed. Before he gets exploded, check out this Batman picture right here. They have a mod on the server where they can paste in pictures. I don't think they drew that. And there goes Batman. They killed Batman and the poor little bastard that was in there, unless he escaped somehow, and I wasn't paying attention. We still have some allied clan members of the Night Clan lingering around, taking out the Raiders from the back. They're using element of surprise because they have to, because they are just outnumbered here, outgunned, outmanned. They have to use whatever tactics that are available to them. But sadly, it only works once. There's even some death here at the outpost tower. They are shooting at men way out on the mountainside. This must be even more remaining allied clan members of the Nightmen trying to flank the Raiders still. It's a persistent battle that is almost never ending. A lot of Raiders have returned to the outpost so they can use it as cover as they fight off the remaining allied clan members of the Night Clan. That base down there that was once high and mighty is absolutely blown to pieces now. It's like Swiss cheese. It's all exposed. It's almost floating there. And this guy right here can easily be taken out. He's on a twig tower way high in the sky. One thing about this base though is that it's so tall and so large, but yet many of the floors are actually empty. It brings the question, why was this material used that way? Why wasn't it used to defend the loot rooms better? Because the loot room only had one wall between itself and the outside world. All the Raiders had to do was shoot a few rockets at the base and bam, the loot room was right there, and there goes all your loot. All the resources used to create those empty floors could have been used to defend the loot room and other places better. Defenders are actually still spawning in. I can only assume there is a TP home function, so they spawn in, grab whatever loot they can from all the dead bodies around, and do the best they can to fight off the Raiders. But yeah, it's sad to see that they are still outmanned and outgunned no matter what they do. One of the last two foundations remaining supporting the base has been taken out, but I bet when they take out that other one right there, it's going to float anyways. Now they are targeting that last foundation piece. We have a naked here destroying all the base parts. It must be a defender taking down what's left of the base. Way across the map on top of this mountain here is a bunch of the allied clan members shooting at the Raiders. Apparently they have plenty of ammo left because he's going to try to shoot out that last foundation. On top of that mountain, they are setting up campfires. I can only assume it's going to be really cold unless they have snow jackets. Bullets are literally flicking off the ground, left and right next to this guy, coming so close to taking him out. It appears the last remaining foundation to hold up this base has been taken out, and the only thing that remains is a bunch of dead naked bodies and a huge floating base. A group of raiders are now going after the mountain men. They got sick of the sniper game and are now going to take them out with brute force and with AKs. The remaining mountain men are now gathered here. It seems like it's actually one of them is an admin with a guitar, and there are 2 mountain men left. They are going to make their last stand, and they were no match for the large group of raiders. Good job, mountain men. Good job. The raid is now over and the chaos is now silenced. But is there truly a real winner here? Does anybody really win from this? And all that we have left is a huge floating base and a clan ripped apart by 4 clans combined together. I hope the raiders here find victory in this battle, because it wasn't as much of a raid as it was a complete extermination of one clan on the server that they all mutually kinda dislike. It looks like we have a fireworks show going on here tonight. The raiders are celebrating by shooting their clips into the sky wildly. You can see the gunfire lighting up the night sky. That is quite the show. For the amount of rockets you guys used, was there any returns?
We didn't get any return, but we did it to make them bleed, mate.
Ah, you made them bleed. Yes, I guess that's the true reward.